Matthews. How are you? That's good.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's an absolute pleasure to be back doing
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's a show I haven't done daily lately, and I apologize, but that's how it goes. Sometimes I get stuck with things to do, and you know, and you knew I was going to come back eventually. Did you tell all your friends about the podcast? Did you get caught up on some of the last ones that I did? You should go and check them out because there's all kinds of stuff to listen to. Hey, did you know that there is a general manager?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
A general manager position open for the radio station at
Mike's
the
Daily
University of
Podcast.
California, Berkeley.
Yeah!
Now, I am very sad that I cannot hear that station where I live in Podcastro Valley. Oh, that's where we are, the last place on earth. Cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. So, I guess I have to see I might apply. Who knows? It's an interesting thought. What if Mike ran a college radio station? It was the general manager. And dealing with all these kids, these young people today, that I find it fascinating, first off, that the young people would even be interested in radio. Because most young people that I know cannot stand podcasts, audio podcasts. They're all about the YouTube. They're all about getting on and playing video games. They don't care about this. They do kind of listen to radio, some of them. So, to shepherd along the next generation of radio people kind of fascinates me. I don't know. Cafe, I don't know, but maybe you should apply too. KALX is a radio station. I'm told that you have to play 3 genres every half hour. And I guess there's that whole element.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture is of me back in college working at a radio station. The college radio station I worked for was at University of Santa Barbara, University of California, Santa Barbara. KCSB. I worked in the morning. There was a dance. I remember it was a morning show, dance show. And the late great Basil the Boxer. I was telling to my lovely lady friend the great story about the late great Basil the Boxer, about how when he was adopted. Actually, I did not want to adopt a dog. I'm going to say that right now. I'm going to be honest. I was married back then. My then wife said, I want a dog. I want a boxer. I grew up with boxers. I want a boxer. So hearing this over and over and over again. All right. Okay. And we drove all the way to Fresno to rescue him. And she kind of checked out early on. Well, of taking care of Basil and then of other things in the marriage. You know how that goes. So, I guess we both did. But that's neither here or there. You're not my therapist. But the thing is that the late great Basil the Boxer and he became my dog son. I took care of him. And when the marriage ended, I still took care of him. Walked him every single day except for a couple times when he was badly injured in some bizarre incident. I even talked about it on the podcast because I believe I've been doing this podcast as long as no, you know what? I got Basil in 2010, and technically Mike's Daily Podcast started in May of 2011. So I may not have... Yeah, I did not cover the actual moment when I adopted Basil the Boxer. But you know what? With all this talk about Basil the Boxer, let's put him in the podcast picture today. That sounds good. Here on FF episode 2449, the last podcast picture featured my lovely lady friend and I. We've been together about 4 years. And she, actually, the reason why we met was because of Basil. I was walking him in Podcastro Valley, and I met her. And so she is forever thankful that Basil brought us together, as am I. But yes, we were there in Fresno adopting Basil years ago. And he was the best decision I never made. It was forced upon me. A lot of things in life are us walking through doors, being pushed through doors, more like it. Didn't expect that to happen. Didn't expect my mom to pass away this year, but that happened. Didn't expect a lot of things to happen this year. I bet you didn't expect a lot of stuff that happened to you to happen this year. It's been a strange year, been a crazy year. But here at Podcastro Valley's Cafe anyway, Podcastro Valleyton, where everybody's hanging out here on this Sunday, I have not been able to do a daily podcast for you. That is simply because of I have at my job, working radio, there is just a lot going on. And there's we're putting in a whole new system that helps us keep track and play certain programming on the air. A whole new system is going in, and it's taking a lot of my time. And I've been very, very tired. Every night I come home really late. I get to work not super early, but it's just go, go, go from the moment I walk in the door. So hopefully that starts to wind down this week. But it's been go, go, go. So there you go. Young people today, if you want to get into radio, expect a lot of that. It's a lot of go, 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 and in a lot of downtime. But I think in the downtime, a lot of young people forget that is your perfect opportunity to learn. And usually at a radio station, you're surrounded by equipment, software programs, all kinds of stuff. Learn it. While you're there during the downtime, learn it. Learn how every single thing works, how the transmitters work, how the phones work. And that's how it should be at every job you're at. You shouldn't just be sitting there. That's the worst thing that ever happened. Smartphone. Because young people immediately default to that. They were raised on that. They immediately start scrolling, start doing the swipe. Up, scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling down. And don't learn stuff. You got to learn stuff. Well, okay, maybe they're on the phone learning things. Maybe they see something on the phone, what they're scrolling through and learning stuff. So who am I to judge? But what am I saying? I'm saying that back at KCSB with, I think, what were we called? We were trying to do like a morning zoo thing. All these young people. We were playing, Bobby Brown had just come out with his solo album. That's how long ago it was. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth. Yes, that's right. And I remember the fun we had. So, the point is, follow your dream. Go after what you want to do. What is it you want to do? As long as you're not hurting people. I mean, do what your passion is. You know, if you do what you love, you don't end up working at all. You never work a day in your life. Of course, a lot of that stuff that you really want to do ends up not paying anything, and then you get resentful, and that's not good. But still, you should go. Like if you want to play video games all day, like Riot Games. I don't even know what that is. They are going to monitor Valorant voice chat to combat disruptive players. Oh, the other thing that's interesting about the younger generation, they've discovered Kate Bush recently, and they're loving that running up the hills stuff. I went down a Kate Bush, the singer, I went down that rabbit hole of all the amazing music that she's done. And she's done way more than just running up that hill. Although a phenomenal song. Look up the guitarist David Gilmour from Pink Floyd who discovered her back when she was just a teenager. Go back and watch the concert they did where he performs the guitar on that song. And that whole he's doing all that part with his guitar. And she sounds amazing. What a voice. And then they got back together in 86. So Running Up the Hill, I think, was 84. 86, he reproduced, he he performed on, and they recut a song she was popular for that made her first noticed in 1978 called Wuthering Heights. But she put the vocals she put on it in 86, I think, are phenomenal. She just goes all out on it, and he's wailing on the guitar. It's pretty cool. But she put out a lot of interesting music. She did this one album called The Ninth Wave that's really out there and bizarre and dreamy and trippy. And so she's amazed at how well her song's doing, Running Up That Hill, but she has a lot of other great songs. It would be awesome if the follow-up single to Running Up That Hill, which is running up the charts now in America, if the follow-up single would be Hounds of Love or Wuthering Heights, or you pick if you're a Kate Bush fan. Maybe re-release that Peter Gabriel thing that she did with him, Don't Give Up. So many great songs. Of course, I'm breezing past right by all the other stuff she did. Wow. Unbelievable, that one. Or Babushka, or that probably wouldn't work right now. Or what's the other one she did? That Experiment Number 4 that's got Hugh Laurie in the music video. A really young Hugh Laurie. It's weird. So abusive Valorant players could soon have their verbal tirades come back to haunt them. Like this tirade, this verbal tirade. Young people do not like podcasts. They hate them. Absolutely abhor podcasts. They want to be playing the video games and watching the YouTube and I don't know. Oh, the Twitch. Not the Twitter, the Twitch. Which, isn't that awesome? People on the left, people on the right, they all are starting to really love Elon Musk and the fact that he's taking over Twitter. And he told Twitter, you keep telling me, oh, there's not that many bots on Twitter. I want the proof. Or I'm not buying you guys. And people on the right are going, yeah, he's like demanding Twitter to shape up. Maybe they'll put Trump back on. And people on the left are like, yeah, they're telling Twitter to be less weird about certain things. Or maybe they're not. But Valorant, so people that play Valorant, apparently they say things that are rather not, I don't even understand that. I got young people I work with that all they do all day is watch, and they shouldn't be because they should be working. They should be working when they're having their downtime. They shouldn't be watching this stuff. They should be learning things. Instead, they're watching this video game stuff, which is ridiculous to me. The whole idea of Twitch. And of course, I was trying to actually think about the other thing that I'm not on. I did try to get on Twitch, but then I'm like, this isn't really for people in their 50s. And then, forget about TikTok. Yeah, I won't even approach that. But all this video game, so what I was doing when I would go to that arcade in that miniature golf place that was shaped like a castle right by the 405 in Sherman Oaks, California, near the Sherman Oaks Galleria. Oh my God, which turned into condominiums or something years ago. But it's still there, as I have been told. That Castle Golf place is still there. I'd go in, all these video games, and you'd watch people that are really good, and they get to all these levels, and you're, oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I get the fascination. But, okay, that was when I was 10. People in their 20s and 30s watching this is just ridiculous. Or older. Yikes. During the initial stage, Riot says it won't use voice evaluation for disruptive behavior results. Oh my gosh! They're encroaching on my privacy. Riot also says we know that before we can even think of expanding this tool, we'll have to be confident it's effective. And if it makes mistakes happen, we have systems in place to make sure we can correct any false positives or negatives for that matter. There was that horrible incident of that recent shooting that was televised on, was it Twitch? And they took it down right away, thankfully, because they had filters in place. And this is what I say about Twitter and Facebook. Anybody that's got a social media, that is not a public right. If you step over the line, you're on their platform. They pay for it. They make money off of you, but it's not a public service. They can kick you off if you want. You have the right to not use them. We shouldn't use them. I am on Twitter and Facebook, and there's links at mikesdailypodcast.com, but all I do for those is post the podcast. So if you're already listening to this, you've found the podcast some way, and you don't really need that stuff. But the South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem on Sunday defended her state's abortion trigger law. That kicked in right after the decision last week. And she said, I believe every life is precious, and we know so much more using technology and science than we did even 10, 15 years ago about what these babies go through, the pain that they feel in the womb, and we'll continue to make sure those lives are protected. And I just have never believed that having a tragedy or tragic situation happen to someone is a reason to have another tragedy occur. South Dakota is one of 13 states that had trigger laws on the books. So now that the Supreme Court ruled the way it did, now these trigger laws have kicked into effect. South Dakota. Now, if this is a deal breaker for you, don't move to South Dakota. Or if you're in South Dakota, but if you are, South Dakota seems like a very conservative state. And I have an off-air alarm. That's what that sound is. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that topic. Although I just kind of did. Rudy Giuliani was slapped in the back. This was today at a New York City grocery store. It was a campaign event for his son's gubernatorial run. He was slapped in the back by a man who police say asked him, "What's up, scumbag?" Wow. Police arrested the man, who witnesses described as a store worker, and he was taken into custody. Giuliani's son, Andrew, said his father was fine and blamed the Staten Island incident on left-wing liberals. And there you go. That's today's Mike's Daily Podcast. What did I talk about last show? The benefits of thinking a minute before sending an email. Yeah, actually, that was a very helpful podcast for me because I went through a very tough time, a rough patch a week ago. And I almost sent an email, and I know I would have regretted it now. At the time, I'm like, oh! If you are upset, best not to fire off a rage email. Best to sit down and talk to the people that you're having the problem with and work it out. If somebody says to you, "Excuse me while I vent," just let them vent. They got to get it out. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be better once they have their say. Once they've had their say, things are better. This is what I have found in my interesting existence on this planet. What's in theaters now? Oh gosh, absolutely nothing I want to watch. There's another Jurassic movie out. Jurassic World. It's not Jurassic Island or whatever. Jurassic Land. It's Jurassic World. I don't even understand why. Why is that even a franchise? Why are people making money off of the poor, entertainment-deprived people that just want to see dinosaurs? I don't get it. Yes, I did see the first Jurassic. What was it called? Jurassic Period? Is that what it's called? Jurassic Land? Michael Crichton wrote the book. I was actually on the movie set of Looker with Albert Finney and Susan Day and James Coburn. I walked right past James Coburn and saw Albert Finney. And who are these people, Mike? Look them up. You've seen them before. Albert Finney was in Erin Brockovich, was the boss, the lawyer guy. There was Michael Crichton. He directed the movie, the Looker movie, all about subliminal advertising. Michael Crichton died pretty young, but he wrote Andromeda Strain, Omega Man, and he wrote the Jurassic Park. There we go. Which turned into a movie. Congo, he wrote that. So a lot of his stuff was turned into movies, is what I'm saying. But very tall man, very tall, no longer with us. But there you go. There's nothing in the movies I want to see. I am a little excited about seeing that next Stranger Things, which is supposed to come out in just a few days. And we'll find out what's going on with the whole upside down world. And the kids. And hopefully there won't be that much stupid dialogue, because that really turned me off the first couple episodes of this most recent season. And how many times do I got to see Hopper punched in the face and tortured and everything? Come on. Winona Ryder Winona is named after the town in Arizona. I found out. Watch that one with him, with Hopper, him and Winona Ryder discuss a bunch of questions that get looked up all the time on Google. I don't use Google because they are a huge monopoly. Thank you, John Oliver, for pointing that out, making it very clear. I do use Google for my Gmail, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com if you'd like to email me. And I use them for texts. And if you do use them for messages, I think is what they call it, you got to download their Gboard. Otherwise, it doesn't work as well. Samsung's configuration with messages doesn't work. Or just, if you don't want to give Google any information, just stick with your Samsung stuff if you've got a Droid phone. But you're already using Google stuff by using the operating system on a phone that Samsung has. That may change at some point, I think. People are getting more upset at the three big A's. Alphabet, which owns Google, Amazon, and Apple, because they do own everything. They have tied up the market so tightly that you can't, if you try and step outside, if you try to make money off of them. I mean, if you're on a YouTube, making money on YouTube with your YouTube channel, they could just easily kick you off. These people, they're guys that travel all across the country and film places and things, do travel vlogs. If YouTube kicks them off, they got nothing. Where are they going to go? They're done. They actually have to get a real job. Well, maybe Elon Musk at some point will buy up Google and he'll fix that too. Who knows? He seems to be the only savior left in the big tech world. But who knows? You know, you probably do. And you're just not telling. You've got to tell us with your podcast. Do a podcast, will you? We're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. 10, the last place on earth. Look who is here. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega. Oh, yes, this is fascinating. I think that Elon Musk is from another planet. Oh! You know, he acts like it. Let's see, the love of his life is named Grimes. Their child is named after some code of some kind. I don't know. I can't even pronounce it. He's got electric cars that are super quiet and super expensive. I'll never afford one. To buy one. Well, do you have a Tesla? Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. Do you like it? Yes. Do you ever put gas in it? No. Do I not understand? I guess that defeats the purpose of having an e-car. I guess I'm a little confused by the whole how it's all the thing. I'm confused by it. Whole thing leaves me confused. Look who else is here. Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant. And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that? Mike, when you're in Chicago, you gotta get a Chicago dog, but don't put any ketchup on it. Yeah, no ketchup. Do you know that? Okay, thanks for the tip, guys. Don't understand what you... I am hoping to someday get to Chicago and see that weird mirrored thing. I wonder if that thing causes any fires when it's really hot during the summer. It's getting hot here in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth. Because, you know, it reflects the light and it could be focused in some points and maybe it could burn people. Spontaneously combusting. I think I found the word for today. No, we'll go with something else. Something else in honor of the late great Basil the Boxer. Enjoy your pets. They are precious. They bring us so much joy and happiness in this world. It's sad that they leave us at some point, but enjoy them. Treasure them while they're here. And I hope this week is good, and I hope I can bring you another podcast soon. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer. If you would like to comment, leave a voicemail, leave an email. But if you want to do a voicemail, please call me at 336-MM Daily. That's 3 + 3 = 6. MM is in Mike Matthews. Daily isn't what this podcast will try to be yet again. Or email me at this place that A-Frame tells you.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!